In the Weekly Public Ledger out of Memphis, Tennessee, we found an article that gives us Valentine Hatfield's account. So we decided to dedicate a complete video just to this article. Come along with us as we read along with the words that Valentine Hatfield gave to the newspaper. It is rare when we have the words of a person from history. Sometimes this can be in the form of newspaper articles, memoirs, confessions, or other forms of documentation. When we find them, we publish them. Such was the case for Clifton Branham, Claiborne Clabe Jones, Elijah Henry Red Bill Hall, the Cane of the Mountains, and now Valentine Wall Hatfield. But for now, let's read the newspaper interview that Hatfield gave to the Weekly Public Ledger. All aboard the Kentucky-Tennessee Living Time Machine. Please fasten your seatbelts and keep your arms and legs inside of the vehicle at all times. But to get going, we need your help. We still need to fire up that time machine to transport us. Please help us by clicking on the like, subscribe, and bell notification buttons down below. Not only does this fire up the time machine for our flight back in time, but it convinces the YouTube algorithm that we need a bigger vehicle to reach more people who love history as much as you do. Now, back to our story. The interview with Valentine Hatfield. Quote, Old Man Hatfield, along with 8 others taken to Louisville. History of the famous feud from their side. Louisville, Kentucky, February 17th. The 9 West Virginians known as the Hatfields arrived here last night in charge of Deputy United States Marshal and the jailer of Pike County. They will appear before Judge Barr of the United States District Court Monday, when the habeas corpus application of the governor of West Virginia will be further heard. Valentine Hatfield, the old man of the gang, after stating that they had been well treated while in the Pike County Jail, gave the following account of the celebrated feud. Quote, The whole trouble, so far as I know, began about 6 or 8 years ago. I had 5 brothers, Ellison, Elias, Anderson, Smith, and Patterson. Ellison was the first one killed. 3 of the McCoy boys shot and cut him on Blackberry Creek on the Kentucky side, and he died the next day. The trouble, I believe, was started by one of the McCoys attempting to arrest Anderson Hatfield's son Johnson about 8 years ago. There was a row, but I don't remember exactly what it was. After Ellison Hatfield was killed, Talbert, Richard, and Farmer McCoy, all young men, were killed by a crowd supposed to have come from West Virginia. The killing was done on the bridge between Blackberry and Mates Creeks. The next Pike County grand jury indicted a lot of people in West Virginia. No one was arrested. However, after that, Jeff McCoy, who is Bill Daniels' brother-in-law, heard Daniels and Tom Wallace abusing the Hatfields, and a quarrel followed. McCoy attempted to arrest Wallace, and a fight took place. This resulted in Cap Hatfield arresting McCoy, and when McCoy tried to get away, he was killed by the men who were guarding him. It was said that Cap Hatfield and Tom Wallace killed him. Sometime after this squad of men went to Randolph McCoy's house and killed one of his sons and a daughter and beat up his old woman. This was charged to the Hatfields, but I never knew anything about it until some time after the murders were committed. A short time after this, a company Pike County men was formed to follow the Hatfields and kill them. They came into West Virginia and found Jim Vance and Captain Hatfield on a bridge near Thacker's Creek. They shot Vance to death and wounded Cap Hatfield. After that, the Kentuckians came in and captured us while we were at work on our farms. None of us resisted, and no injury was done us. But if there was any authority for confining us in jail, I never heard of it." Unquote. County Attorney J. Lee Ferguson of Pike was questioned concerning the claim of the prisoners that they were innocent. He laughed at the idea and said that while the worst of the Hatfield crowd had not been captured, the men who are now in the Louisville jail are undoubtedly a part of the gang. He declared that the prisoners had not been unlawfully imprisoned, but after having crossed the borderline between West Virginia and Kentucky, had been legally arrested and taken to jail by the proper officers. He did not deny that the West Virginians had been forcibly taken from their homes, but held that the Kentuckians were justified by the dangers threatening them in taking the matter into their own hands when the West Virginia authorities refused to assist in restraining and punishing the outlaws, who had only to cross a narrow stream to commit the most atrocious crimes and then cross back again to safety from the law. Mr. Ferguson asserted positively that he had credible information that a state official of West Virginia had been restrained with a fee of $500 to prevent Governor Wilson from recognizing the requisition issued by Governor Buckner. He charged also that the Hatfield crew had been brought other influences to bear, and that the worst of the gang were now in comparative security. Of the prisoners now in the Louisville jail, Mr. Ferguson said that Valentine Hatfield recently confessed to him that he had 5 living wives and 33 living children. 9 of his children had died. Mr. Ferguson states that Hatfield has a peculiar ideas of polygamy and does not marry his wife according to law, but takes them and appropriates his time out between them. Unquote. In next week's video, we will break down Valentine Hatfield's participation in the feud. Thank you. We at Kentucky, Tennessee Living would like to thank you for watching our video series on the Appalachian feuds. Don't forget to hit that like button, as the more likes we receive, the more likely YouTube is to suggest our videos to other viewers. Also, to receive notice when we upload a new video, be sure to subscribe and click the bell notification button. Be sure to double check that you are subscribed, as some of our viewers are finding that they are no longer subscribed to our channel. We thank you for continuing to support Kentucky, Tennessee Living as we are discovering the mysteries in Appalachian history.